And we are back in the building, back with some more boxing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and all that good stuff. Now, guys, we're going to talk a little bit more about the fight last night. We had Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos for the vacant WBC lightweight title. I did do a reaction video to it. I didn't get much traction, so I wanted to come on here and I would say give more of an explanation on what I thought about the fight last night. Now, of course, there's been some fallout from the fight. You know, a lot of fans were not happy about Shakur Stevenson's performance. Of course, you know, some of his peers weren't happy. I'm going to read a couple of their tweets. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, those guys were going to have something to say. They're always watching each other, trying to feel each other out. They haven't gotten in the ring with each other yet, but, you know, they're filling each other out all the time. But anyway, let's start with Devin Haney, what he had to say last night. Devin says, should have offered this bum 10%. I was being too generous. So Devin kind of hit below the belt there. I think he was offered 20% for the fight with Devin Haney, and he turned it down. He also says, stop that scared narrative. Nobody was ever scared of that bum. He wanted clout. That's all they used my name for. So Devin going for the juggler on Shakur Stevenson's performance. Now, Ryan Garcia, not to be outdone, of course, he has something to say on Twitter as well. He says, imagine going to this fight for Formula One weekend. I would ask for my money back and go straight to bed. That's how sleepy I'd be from being there. Tell me who wins. I can't keep my eyes open. Good night. So that's what Ryan had to say. He also went for the juggler on Shakur Stevenson's performance last night. Now, let's talk about his performance last night. First, let's talk about his opponent, Edwin De Los Santos. I think a lot of people underestimated this guy last night. You know, there was a lot of talks of him. He was going to be washed by Shakur Stevenson. But if you go back and watch, you know, his performance in previous fights, you knew this guy was the real deal. Not only did he, you know, have a lot of power, you know, the guy is very athletic, fast feet, piston-like jab that he loves to double up on. And I knew he was going to be a problem for Shakur last night. Now, I thought Shakur did what he needed to do to win the fight. When he got in the ring with the guy, he realized this guy was the real deal. And what Shakur's best attribute was his defense. He knew getting into a firefight with this guy would be the wrong answer. I think if Shakur would have went that route, he definitely probably would have got knocked out by this guy. So he had to use what he was good at to nullify Edwin De Los Santos' game, which was his defense. Keep him missing and keep the jab in his face. He was very accurate with his jab. He basically won the fight with a jab. Now, his left hand, you guys saw that he was reluctant to let his left hand go. And I think that was for two reasons. Number one, he didn't want to get countered. So he didn't opt to let that left hand go. It could have been bad for Shakur letting that left hand go. I understand that. I could see that in the fight. Number two, which is speculation, that he might have injured that left hand. You know, he didn't say it was for sure, but there was a lot of talk after the fight. They were asking him about it. He didn't want to reveal whether or not he injured his left hand. And I can understand that because he didn't want to make excuses. I think I heard that he actually apologized for his performance last night. Now, I thought that he did what he needed to do to win the fight, regardless of the boos and things like that. You know, sometimes it's not going to be as entertaining as the fans want it to be. And I do understand the fans wanting the fight to be entertaining. I get that. But sometimes you got to do what you have to do to win the fight. This was a tough opponent. You know, having power with athleticism, with good footwork, you know, he's going to be a tough nut to crack. And he was. He's going to be a problem at 135. Mark my word. This guy is going to be a problem. Now, could Shakur Stevenson done better in the fight? Of course he could have. I think Shakur Stevenson needs to probably work more on his offense. You know, we know that he can be, you know, predictable at times. I think he should work on having a more variety in his punches. I think that, played a big factor in the fight. Him being reluctant to let his left hand go and not having, more of a variety of punches in his arsenal. He could work on that. He's great at his defense. I think at times he's lacking in his offense, and he can get a bit predictable in the fight. So when he goes back to the drawing board, I think that's something that he needs to work on. Maybe, work on more power too as well. I don't think he has, I think he has more power than Devin Haney. But, you can always work on that. And, fighting guys like this, lets you know where your weak points are. So he's getting a lot of flack, and I get it. A lot of people expected more out of Shakur Stevenson. I think he expected more from himself. I think he feels like he let the fans down. As a true fan of boxing, as a fan of the sweet science, I understand what type of dilemma he was in and what he had to do to win the fight. I think if he would have engaged more, he probably would have lost the fight. And I think he knew that too. So he was very careful in what he did last night. Pretty much, winning the fight with a jab, which isn't entertaining for a lot of people. I get that. And I mean, it is what it is. So hopefully, in his next fight, he performs better. Sometimes you're just not going to have your best performance, and that definitely wasn't his best performance. But like I said, as a true boxing head, I recognize what he was trying to do. So let's see what happens next, guys. Let's see what happens next. He didn't really call out anybody last night. I knew he probably wouldn't, because he felt bad about his performance. He's probably going to go back to the drawing board, work on some things, probably on his offense. That's what he needs to work on. Variety of punches. His defense, like I said, is sharp. It's the offense, I think, that he needs to work on. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about what Devin had to say, about what Ryan Garcia has to say. Both of those guys have fights coming up as well. So now the pressure's on them to perform well, since they spoke out against Shakur Stevenson's performance. You guys let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.